Hey, listen up. If you're subscribed to my channel, I need you to do me a favor and welcome me back to my own channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dave. Welcome to Aroid District. So I have neglected my plants over the past few months, and I'm gonna show you the bad, but I want to focus a little bit more on the good. And you know, in today's video, I'm just gonna give you all a lot of updates when it comes to my plant collection. And later on in the video, I got a little announcement to make, and let's just get started. Let's go. So what's been going on with y'all? Hopefully everybody has been doing well. Mama Long, I'm here. Shout out to Mama Long's plants. She always be checking on me, and I appreciate it for that. But you know, I'm right back at it. Now, updates. Do you all remember that big philodendron bilietier that I put outside? Well, it's dead. Like, it's dead real bad. I done killed a lot of plants, y'all. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say. I just neglected my plants, and a lot of them just passed away. It was like a nice peaceful death to a lot of them plants. They just didn't get watered, or the winter time just like killed them off or something like that. But they are no longer with us. And on top of that, I did have a lot of plants that I either gave away, I put in a compost bin if it wasn't looking good. So it's just, you know, I downsized by default because a lot of these plants are just not here no more. So there is a very valid reason why I neglected these plants and they died. I had a heavy workload, all right? I had a heavy workload at work, and I was working on a few things. And amongst working on those things, I have an announcement to make. I am moving. I'm finally moving out of this house. I'm relocating from Los Angeles, California to Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, officially, it's going down. So I found me a nice little suburban town outside of Atlanta, and I will be moving there in a couple months. So with that being said, you know, the care for my plants and the preparation for me moving across country like that, it all plays into this video. So if I'm moving cross country, how am I supposed to take a setup like this with me? When I start shipping my belongings, I can't take plants that are this big. So I'm already ahead of the game, because guess what? I air layered this plant. This here is my philodendron splendid. It is the varicosum crossed with the melanochrysum. I love this plant, and I'm sure a lot of you all saw when I set this plant up on this display. It has been a joy to work with. This plant has been very easygoing, and it is a true house plant. I go on and on about a house plant, and what I mean by that is just something that you can place in your house and you don't have to give it a lot of extra care. So this plant does not care. I keep it like right here by the window, and it doesn't matter if it's wintertime, summertime, hot, cold, moist, dry air. It doesn't even matter. This plant still does well. And somebody even left a comment. Somebody left a comment when I set this up, and they said that this plant was not going to size up, and you know, they just had some critical things to say about the setup, and they were partially correct, because you know, the plant did not get very huge, but it didn't get small either. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. You know, I wanted a natural display, if you can see that. I wanted to use this natural bucket with this stick that I found out at a park or something like that. And it was very easy going, and it climbed up and it reached the top of this stick. So I'm very happy. This was a successful project for me. So what I really want to do is take a top cut from this plant and pot it up so that I can take it along with me when I make that drive down south to relocate. So we are going to cut this plant right now. I waited to film this video to take this propagation. So this little bag that's surrounding the node, this is called air layering if you're not familiar. And before you cut or propagate any plant, make sure you water it a day or two before. That is just the golden rule. That is just something that I suggest. You want the plant to be fully hydrated before you propagate it so that it can do well, you know, when you pot it up, or you know, when you propagate it. It needs to have some water and nutrition inside of the leaves so that it can further root once it goes into shock after you cut it. So let's go ahead and cut this now. Fairly simple process. I use a plastic bag just to wrap the node with some moss, and that's how I decided to air layer this. So I do want to stress to y'all, this plant has been very, very easy. I take this whole setup outside and I water it only once a month. I wash off the leaves and I soak this pot real good only once a month. And that's all I'm gonna get this whole, because when it comes to plants being downstairs, I'm not trying to do all of that extra care. That's just setting myself up for neglect if I put a setup down here that requires a lot of extra care, which is why I don't have this plant on a moss pole. It's on a stick. You know, I don't like the look of moss poles down in my living room. I just wanted to set up like this, and it really worked. So those of you who are like me, that's what my get down is. So this is what the cut is looking like. These leaves look really nice. Has the new growth right here, and this is the oldest leaf before where the roots are coming out. So this is like heavily rooted. Maybe I shouldn't have waited quite this long to cut the air layering, but I got a little bit of stem left over and a nice little root system to keep this top cut going. So I'm gonna set this to the side, pot this up later, and I should be able to easily you know, just take this along with me when I relocate. Listen, but we got a lot of Spirited Sanctis. Yes, all three of these are Philodendron Spirited Sanctis. I think I have one more upstairs. I'm not about to go get it. But they are doing fine, and they have been easy to propagate for me, I tell you that much. This Spirited Sancti here grown in this basket, or this hanging pot, this is the one that I'm gonna give my cousin. I'm definitely gonna give him this. And this is actually one of the original mother plants. So I think one or two of the cuts came from this actual plant, and it grows like a little stem. The nodes are cut together, so it is quite difficult to propagate these because the nodes are close together. If you can see that, this is where the original grew, and I cut it and it grew this side shoot. So it's the mother plant. And I'm gonna gift this to him because, you know, he's the one who got me into collecting Aroids. So I think this would be a good gift. And this is easy going, y'all. Like, I'm pretty sure all of y'all who got y'all Spirited Sanctis, it's easy to care for. Like, you can grow this just about anywhere. So I got the one that I'm gonna keep with me. Hold on. I'm taking this one with me when I move. This one's been growing in my living room. You know, I propagated this, and it just doesn't matter whether it's in the greenhouse, whether it's outside in the yard, or inside of your house. Spirited Sancti has been very easy going. A lot of plants that come from Brazil, they're a little bit more hardy in my experience. I've been noticing that. And this one is just on its way to being just really nice. Like, I'm finally starting to like the Spirited Sancti, because I was hating for a minute and I felt like they were just a little bit overrated. But so I will say this, I haven't done well with Antheriums, but this Antherium Doc Black has survived the great neglection of 2024. Like, this thing is just a beast. Like, it really does a lot better than a lot of my other Antheriums. Like, a lot of my Antheriums is going downhill. I don't even feel like showing y'all the ones that's toe up. But look at this one. This is the Doc Block Zara Michelle. And, you know, got the whoop whoop, big booty, nice little red color. And it's just very hardy. very, very hardy. I highly recommend one of these. You know, I don't know if they're still expensive. I haven't been keeping up with the current market value of a lot of these plants, but Doc Block, going to get you one, because this thing is really easy going. So it's holding on to 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves and one on the way, and it's just very easy going. So let me see. Over the years, what have I learned? I think there's a misconception about anthuriums, or at least maybe I had a misconception. I always felt like they didn't need that high of light. Anthuriums actually really like having strong bright light. You know, I ain't talking about like, you know, sunbeams and all of that, but they like to have a good amount of light. And that has always been a misconception, that they are low light plants. Mines do not do well unless they're getting some strong LED light or that sunshine coming through that window a bit strong, you know. But they don't like the heat, in my experience. This one doesn't mind as much. If it goes up to, you know, 80 degrees in the room, this one ain't gonna do too much. But a lot of them other super exotic anthuriums I got, they get to looking like little dope fiends like right away, brown edges, and it just starts to look nasty. So anthuriums, I love them, but philodendrons will always be my favorite because they're just a lot easier. Oh, speaking of anthuriums, I have a couple of anthuriums I ain't showed y'all in a really long time. Why? Because they've been growing outside. I just overlooked them as outdoor plants. That's how well they have been doing, like for like over a year. So let me go grab both of them and show y'all. That's a good update. This is the Antherium Patum. I've been growing this one outdoors all of this time. I haven't really gave y'all an update on it. Let me back up so I can really show y'all. So I got these little plastic sheets that you roll into a pot like this. It has like some mesh underneath the bottom. It's dripping right now, but yeah, it's a lot. Like you see these little nooks, they have holes in them. So this is aerated all the way down. And I fill it up with, you know, my Antherium mix, and it provides a lot of air. And I just keep this thing outdoors, and look at it. This thing is a beast. This is the newest leaf, actually. This one right here. This newest leaf started to show up with like some red veining. I don't know if y'all can see that. Or maybe it wants to focus on me. And we also got like a little inflorescence right here. This thing has been flowering outdoors a lot, you know. But we had some high winds, and the high winds took down a couple of the leaves, but this thing is still a beast, and it still keep growing. We got new growth down there. So I've been enjoying this one outdoors. This is the Antherium Patum. I don't show it much. There's an update on that. Antherium Patum. That's what this one is called. If you watch, you know, my tour, I think a couple years ago, this one used to be indoors. I grow it outdoors now, and it's actually pretty disgusting. I see a spider, and this pot has dog hair all over it. So I'm gonna hold this away from my body. But yeah, this Antherium Patum is going crazy. We got inflorescence coming in. These leaves are starting to change to all kind of different shapes. And this one just survives the cold, the heat, a little bit of direct sun every morning, and it does well. Same type of pot setup. All right, let me take this shit back outside. So I really like this Antherium, but it just doesn't do very well for me. This is a hybrid Doc Block crossed with Bessier. We love the Bessier. Nice emerging leaf color. We love the Doc Block. Fire. Those mixed together, this plant is supposed to be, you know, top notch. But look at this. We got some crackish behavior going on with this plant. Soon as the temperature gets warm, it start the small leaves get damaged, and then when they expand, they just be looking like this. When I was about to say I want it to look like this, but this is fucked up too. So I don't really Yeah, this plant just is not that hardy, but it's growing. It's growing. It doesn't die. We got like multiple growth points, so I can kind of like separate this into, I think, 2 different plants, and it might split off and make a 3rd plant. So this hybrid actually has a very strong clumping habit, because that's what's going on at the base of this plant. And I'm gonna just let it rock. Maybe it'll I wanted to say adjust, but I can't even say that because it's been a long damn time. Like, you should have adjusted by now, you know. But you know, plants that give me a little bit too much trouble, I'm not willing to put up with anymore. This one is still growing and staying alive, so I'll be taking this with me, and maybe I can get the inflow and cross this with something, and then the offspring will grow better than this. So again, this is a Doc Block cross with a Bessier. This is an Ace of Spade cross with Papilaminum. I really like this one. Now, this is a very plain Jane style leaf, but I tell you, in person, when you looking at it in person, the texture, the sheen, the simplicity of it is fire. Like, I really like this one, and it's starting to grow very well for me. So I'm happy to have this one in the collection, and it's like perfect little shipping size. I did show this before, but that was back when I was showing a lot of little tiny seedlings. I was just ranting and raving about all of these hybrids and whatnot, and this is one of them. It's starting to really grow up. So, you know, it was taking a long time while it was a seedling, and then all of a sudden, wow, it just start to you know, go out of the seedling phase. So Ace of Spade cross with Papilaminum. Okay, I'm gonna update y'all on a couple of these Hoyas. Check this out. So do y'all remember this Hoya Australis Lisa that I set up in this little display? Well, I found a trellis outside. Y'all know how I get sticks out of my backyard or from wherever. So I gave this a trellis, and look what the trellis turned into. Bro, why the trellis turn into a whole tree? That's not even cool. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Let me set this down, matter of fact. Ooh. The trellis turned into a tree. Wow. And the tree is flowering. Like, it's a lot going on with this. So I like the setup, but I'm just a little bit confused. Like, this is what I want it to be on display. This Hoya Australis. I see new growth. I see new growth on the Hoya, but like, how the hell you let the trellis outgrow the actual plant that is supposed to be climbing up? Like this, I think I know what happened. So pretty much this tree I do have in my backyard. Believe it or not, this tree is actually a euphorbia. So it's called the Euphorbia continifolia. So, you know, when I cut this and it was just a bare stick, it has cactus-like properties to where it, you know, it stores a lot of, it's a succulent. So it has like life inside the stems. So as soon as the winter was over, the stems just start putting out leaves. And it must have rooted inside of this pot somehow, and it's just growing. So yeah, that's what happened to this display. I really liked this display too, but I am a little bit vexed by this trellis turning it into a whole damn tree. Do y'all like it? I don't know what I'm gonna do about it, but there's the Hoya Australis Lisa. And those are a couple other succulents in the front. So yeah. This tree go all the way up to my ceiling. That's crazy. One of the Hoyas that I really been loving is this Hoya Tangam. This has been one of my favorite Hoyas for a while now. I like the Tangam. It just has a, you know, it has that prehistoric look, and it's something exotic about it. I just got a vibe from it, and it's just one of my top 3 favorite Hoyas. And it grows so easy for me. I have Yeah, I have a couple in the kitchen right over there. Yeah, I got them everywhere. And I actually have 3 up in the plant room. The plant room looks a mess, so that's why I didn't really want to film in there. It's kind of dirty, and it's actually a little bit sparse because I've been getting rid of some of my plants, or they either died. So, but yeah, this is the Hoya Tangam. A little update on that one. I'm really liking this one. I have it in this cup with the little trellis around it and the tendrils just going around. So I want this one to just let me step back, just grow around this whole thing and just turn big. Just let it go off. But easy going. I let it dry out completely before I water it again, and it takes a wide range of light, temperature. In the wintertime it does stop growing, so I don't think it likes the cold. So yeah, that's that. So let me talk about my move just a little bit. Now, I'm a big believer in not relocating to run away from problems. I would rather relocate for better opportunity. That is just a rule of mine that I always follow. So I've always been thinking about moving to Atlanta, Georgia for years now, because my father is originally from Atlanta, Georgia, so his whole side of the family is from there. 3 of my sisters have relocated there 10 years ago. I got the nieces, the nephews, uncles, aunties, cousins, and even a handful of friends all out there. So the little town that I'm moving to, like all in close proximity, I will have a lot of my family out there. And the most important thing that I want to do is I want to live a more simpler life, So, me buying a nice home out there, the mortgage is going to be half the price of what I pay here in LA. So that would afford me a lot more finances to take care of my mother and just to hone in with family a bit more, So that's just what I want to do. I want to live a more simple life and just really give time to my mother, because things weren't looking so great a while ago when it came to my family dynamic, and I just definitely want to restore that. And it was just meant to be. I was gonna wait until I was later in age to move out there and join the rest of my family, but I think now might be the smartest time. I've been learning a lot. We live in a capitalist country, and as a financial move, it only makes sense that I go ahead and do that. So I'm selling all my properties out here, cash me out. I'm gonna go out there and just live a more simple life, and that is the plan. All right, so I'm gonna have to cut this video short because I got something to do, but I'm gonna give you an update on this last plant. So here is my Monstero Ty Constellation. It looks a lot smaller than you last seen it, right? That's because I took a top cut. This thing was growing like crazy in the path cow. This path cow goes crazy for Monstero Ty Constellations, I can tell you that much. Yeah, so it was growing even during the winter, and it was roots coming out the pot. So I decided to trim the roots down and take a top cut, and this is that top cut. I made that cut, I would say 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and let me see. The roots that I cut have already started to grow because I see them way down here. So this thing propagated fairly quickly because it did have a little bit of aerial root, but I trimmed those aerial roots, and this is what the Ty is doing right now. I do have some bottom cuts, but I have them sitting in water. I don't need to show y'all that, but top cut, flight. So that's the Ty Constellation. I thought I'd show y'all that because I did a whole video on this plant. So I'm thinking I might want to do one more YouTube video in this house before I show y'all my new house when I move on out down south. So yeah, bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna try to make that happen, and that's what I got going on. It's really rough trying to sell multiple properties and relocate. I gotta slowly start shipping my things, and I'm tied up with all of that, so that's why I took my break. A lot going on, but I hope all of you are well. I hope y'all are well. I'm still doing my thing, and I appreciate you all for still sticking with me, like still tuning into this video. If actually means a lot to me. You know, y'all helped me get through some rough times over these past 2 or 3 years, you know. So that's all I got for you. My name is Dave, and see you next time.